अनदर वीडियो और आपका आज वीडियो।
स्वागत है।
आज वीडियो हम लेकर आए, इसका टाइटल है
श्री जगन्नाथ मंदिर का रहस्य।
तो चलिए देखते हैं ये वीडियो, लेकिन इससे पहले
इस वीडियो चैनल का ओरिजिनल लिंक आपको हमारी वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन मिल जाएगा। सब्सक्राइब किया, लाइक किया, शेयर का फॉलो किया। इनके चैनल को इसके अलावा लोग चैनल लिंक भी हमारी वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन मिल जाएगा। सब्सक्राइब किया, लाइक किया, शेयर का फॉलो करें।
चलिए देख लेते हैं ये वीडियो।
Welcome to TRSS, Dada. How are you?
I'm good.
I had to do this episode in English because there's countless episodes about the same subject done in Hindi. I think almost none done in English. And there's an entire audience that wants to learn about this subject. I'm a part of that audience. Welcome to TRS.
Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath. Where do we even begin? Because all I know is that the deity is a combination of multiple deities. And even Sikhs pray to Jagannath ji.
That's a beautiful story. The Nanak Panth.
Just the ball is getting passed to you. I don't even know where to begin this episode. It seems too esoteric and too wide
Exactly.
a topic.
Exactly. The term Jagannath, which we use today, or Jagannath Kshetra, Jagannath Dham, as Shankara developed it as one of the Char Dhams of Hindu Dharma.
Like Shankaracharya.
Shankaracharya. In order to understand that, we will have to get into a bit of history of last 1200 years. So even before the site where the current temple stands today actually came into existence, Puri or Purushottam Kshetra, it existed as a Sati Peeth, as a very strong Shakta Peeth and a Shaiva Peeth. The Kalika Puran, the Matsya Puran, these all define Purushottam Kshetra as a place of Shakti. In the Skanda Puran, Utkal Khanda, and the Skanda Puran, Purushottam Mahatva or Niladri Mahodaya, another text, they all define it as a abode of Mahalakshmi, where Mahalakshmi says to Yamraj, that any soul who has visited Nilachal Kshetra, you won't have any rights over his soul. The soul belongs to me. And when he leaves his mortal body, I will take charge. You will not take charge. I will take charge.
Any soul that visits
that Kshetra. Now, the Kshetra typically has 4 corners. It is spread out basically. It's just not Puri. Okay? It's just not the town of Puri. It is spread out between Puri, Bhubaneswar, Jajpur, and then Konark. These are defined as per the 4 weapons of Sri Vishnu. Puri is the Shankha Kshetra, the conch, okay, of which 2/3 is under the sea, 1/3 is above the land.
as in, why is it under the sea?
That's how it is defined in the Shastras and Puranas.
You think there's some mystery hiding there?
Possibly yes. I mean, very recently, IITs revealed a report which they had done a survey through GP, ground penetrating radar, where they say that they have found traces of an ancient city under the current city with multiple tunnels, which is very much possible, because per my field survey, I have seen some of those tunnels.
Underground.
Oh yeah.
I just think that there's way too many temples in India which have mysteries attached to them, which are only now coming to the forefront.
Yes.
Because of content creation.
Correct.
So
that's right.
You're also involved in archaeology?
Kind of, because I'm a part of ICOMOS, which does a lot of things of all the archaeological sites worldwide in 135 countries. I'm a part of INTAC. And obviously my focus area in terms of cultural heritage is service, field service, and enlistment, documentation of heritage.
Okay.
Documentation and enlistment, because these are the foundations to protect your heritage, be it a tangible one, be it an intangible one.
For future generations.
Absolutely. So this is in terms of heritage that I do. My primary research areas are the cultural landscape of Brajbhumi, Kurukshetra, Odisha and Sri Jagannath culture, Bengal, Maratha history, Mewar history.
Wow.
Only Mewar and Jaipur. Because, and all these things, all of these cultural landscapes, they all circle back to Jagannath Puri.
Really?
18 years of research of mine, even today I'm learning every day something or the other new.
Like all these places you mentioned are either related to the Mahabharata or related to India's recent history.
Bhakti movement.
Bhakti movement.
Yes. See, during Bhakti movement, these places were triggered by Sri Chaitanya, whom we call Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To that extent, if you want to understand, for all your audiences, if you really want to understand Jagannath Puri, you must first understand the life and times of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are 3 stages of Jagannath cult or Jagannath Tattva. The first is the initial phase, the formative years, say between 4th century to 10th century. The Guptas breaking up and the other forces taking up, and how the cult develops, Shaiva, Shakti, and then to Vishnu. Then comes the stage where it's the fundamentals are done, it starts maturing, early maturing stage I would say. That's when Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, they start visiting and the current temple is being constructed. That's when Konark Sun Temple also comes up. And then comes the final stage, or the peak, when Sri Chaitanya lands in Jagannath Puri. The peak of Bhakti movement. The synergy that he creates, Bengal, Orissa, Brajbhumi and Rajasthan, the Kachawa Rajputs, Shekhawati Rajputs. Now, if you look at the religious history of Bharat, you will see that a royal patronage was always primarily driving it. Buddhism flourished because Ashoka stood like a rock behind it. Jainism flourished in Orissa because Kharavela stood behind it as a rock like it. Similarly, during Bhakti movement, the Gauriya Vaishnav tradition, which actually turned things around in Jagannath Puri, flourished because of patronage from not only from Bengal, royal patronage from Bengal, but also royal patronage from Orissa and also from Rajasthan, Shekhawati Rajputs.
Good point to get a small history lesson on the Bhakti movement.
Absolutely.
Because, again, it's been mentioned a lot on the show, but I want to get into the story of it.
Yes, you should, because that will open up. You will get very good clarity on how the monarchies influenced religious development, how they themselves converted or became martyrs, and how our temples, or the early medieval temples or the late medieval temples came up. Of all those thousands and thousands of temples that Ghazni took down, we today know about Krishna Janmabhoomi, which was burnt with naphtha balls. We know about Somnath, which where 50,000 people fought, and and then Ghazni was rerouted. Whatever happened. But which people don't know was another big kshetram which was plundered by him. We don't speak about it at all. Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra, the ancient city of Thaneshwar, Harshavardhan's Thaneshwar, part of the capital city of the Kannauj kingdom. There was an opulent temple as big as the Sri Krishna Janmabhoomi temple. Thy name was Chakranasin temple, in the name of Sudarshan Chakradhari.
Where the Bhagavad Gita was recited.
Yes. Even today that place is there. Kurukshetra, if we have today, it is the blessing of Adi Shankaracharya. The description which Al-Udbi gives in Kitabul Yamini is so fabulous, I can't tell you. Even the Sultan is mesmerized by looking at it. There are only 3 times when the Sultan is mesmerized. One is Somnath, second is Krishna Janmabhoomi, and the third one is the Chakranasin temple of Kurukshetra. But Indian history doesn't teach you all these things, unfortunately. Even now, even after so much of policies and revamping in our textbooks and all that stuff. There's so much of history to cover. I mean, you'll be amazed to know that in Orissa, we are talking about Orissa. In Orissa, people don't know, today's generation don't know who was Langula Narasimhadeva, who built Konark Sun Temple, who was the Eastern Ganga dynasty, who gave you Konark Sun Temple as well as the Jagannath Temple. The first father of Orissa was Anantavarman Chola Gangadev, the man who established the imperial Gangas, the Eastern Ganga dynasty. The children don't know, youth don't know.
We recently did an episode on Ashoka the Great. We stopped that episode at the point of the Kalinga War and the spread of Buddhism. I barely know about what happened in Orissa after the Kalinga War. What happened?
That was a period after the Mauryas fell. After the Mauryas fell, Kharavela took over, whose inscription is there. If you go to Bhubaneswar, there are two sites, Udaygiri and Khandagiri. In Udaygiri, there is Kharavela's famous inscription, the Hathi Gumfa inscription, which speaks of his 14 years of his rule, and it gives a detail of what he did in each of those years.
Okay.
So now what happens? After Kharavela, there are multiple tribes, monarchies, vassal king, feudatory chiefs. But main comes the Bhaumakara dynasties and the Sailadhovas. Okay? So the Bhaumakaras are the ones who gave you the Shakti temples. They were mainly mother worshippers. Okay? So that's how you see so many Shakti temples in Bhubaneswar, Ekamra Kshetra. Then after them, it's taken over by the Somvanshis. The Somvanshis come, they were Shaivites primarily. Okay? That's how they brought up the Lingaraj temple. But at the same time, they became smarters, realizing that there is a big, because Bhakti movement was, not the Bhakti movement, the worship of Vishnu was picking up at that time in Orissa. So they merged. Okay? And that's how the Lingaraj temple was made. And in Lingaraj temple, it is a Harihareshwar.
Okay, it's both Vishnu and Shiva.
Both Vishnu and Shiva. Okay? And then comes from Somvanshis, the reign is captured by the Eastern Gangas, Anantavarman, Chola Gangadev, who unifies this entire Orissan geography over his entire career.
So the modern day state of Orissa, the boundaries are decided by this story.
This one, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is basically just combining 4 religious spots.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Because you get a feed of that from two things. When you look at the Jagannath deity, the triad, okay, one of the aspects that is covered, or the theologies which comes out of the Jagannath deity is, Jagannath is Krishna, Balabhadra is Shiva, and Subhadra is the divinity, mother divinity, the feminine,
Shakti,
the Vimala, or the Mahamaya, or the Ekanamsa. Its origin I will again discover that. Similarly, when you look at why Konark Sun Temple was made, so when Langula Narasimhadeva talks to his mother with all the war booty he has captured from the Bengal Sultanate, his mother says to him, build a sun temple. Another round of unification for Odisha. You have the opulent temple of Ma Biraja at Jajpur. You have the Jagannath temple in Puri for Vishnu. You have the wonderful Lingaraj in Bhubaneswar for Shiva. But we don't have anything for the sun. And sun worship at that point of time, 11th century, 10th century, 12th century, was very prominent in India. Even in places like Bengal. People will be amazed. There were as many as 5 sun temples. Even today there is a brick sun temple which stands in Purulia. Beautiful one.
Why did the prominence go away?
Because the temples were desecrated. But the worshipping of sun even today exists in the pantheon of Sanatan. Everything. I mean, if you go to Rath Yatra, for example, I'm just giving one small example, where you will see the sun worship happens, okay, in the Surya Mandap on a Surya Yantra, and then the Rath Yatra starts. So that relevance, that significance stands even today. It's just that the temple structure is not there. You have Martand, which was desecrated. You have Modhera, that was desecrated. Konark fell. Bengal desecrated. So his mother says that build a fabulous sun temple for posterity, which people will remember you and me and the entire dynasty. That's how the sun temple comes up. And then between those another 300 to 400 years, the current Jagannath temple that you see, that also develops. So Anantavarman Chola started the construction. Ananga Bhimdev or Anyanka Bhima, the three, completed it in 1230 or consecrated it, I would say. The completion was done. He offered it to the people. And then after that, subsequent kings, Gajapati Maharajas, they built the Nata Mandap and the Bhoga Mandap. So it is an evolution. So when you look at the Sri Jagannath temple, there is one key point which persistently points to temple architectural development of Bharat. It is the full-blown example of Kalingan temple architecture. Had Konark been standing, it would have been higher than Jagannath temple. This one is around, I think, close to 200 feet, and that was 220 plus feet.
With respect to the Jagannath Puri Mandir, what's the most fascinating thing you've learned over your years of study?
In terms of architecture or in terms of any other thing?
I would prefer mystery or occult.
That's a very good question. You know, there's so much to cover at that point that...
There is definitely a very big occult element, right?
Absolutely. There is a impact of Vajrayana Buddhism. There is a impact of Sanatan Tantric activities, and it has to be because, you see, here comes the explanation, esoteric explanation of the deity.
Yeah.
So, if you are a Shiva worshipper, you will see Bhairav in Jagannath.
Yeah.
Okay? Ekapada Bhairav, again more of a tantric deity. So when Jagannath falls sick after the Snana Purnima and the Patachitra is made, Jagannath is represented in Patachitra more like a Bhairav, Ugra Bhairav. There are Ashta Bhairavs also in Puri.
Yeah.
Ashitanga Bhairav, Ruru Bhairav, Prachanda Bhairav, Tandava Bhairav, you know, all that stuff is there. Every one of them is there, along with the Ashtamatrikas. If you are a worshipper of the mother, you will see Dakshina Kali in her. And Balabhadra is Ugratara. Subhadra is Bhuvaneshwari. This is why when the worshipping happens of Jagannath, the Klim mantra is initiated, and he is first worshipped as Vishnu and Lakshmi to start with, and then his 8 Shaktis in the temple are invoked.
So in the Jagannath Mandir, there are totally 3 main idols.
4. Chaturda Vigraha. First is Balabhadra, the one who is Balram or Baro Thakuro in terms of Oriya. Then stands Subhadra or Ekanamsa from Mahabharat. Shakti. Then Sri Jagannath. And then stands Sudarshan Chakra, who represents, people will be shocked to know, Narasimha. Ugra Narasimha. Because Narasimha, in his own aspect, represents the Girija form. Girija means the one who was born out of a mountain. Now I will take you straight to Ahobilam. If you go to Ahobilam, you have the Ugra Stambam. That's how the Girija aspect is defined. Narasimha is being represented by Sudarshan. And you will be amazed to know, because of this esoteric definition that I am telling, that there was a time, let's say till mid of 15th century, when even Narasimha was primarily invoked when the worship used to begin on a daily basis, apart from all other festivals or even Navakalevar for that matter.
Gotcha.
Later, in the middle of 15th century, it was the Gopala mantra was introduced. He was started worshipping as Gopal because that's when it was solidifying the Krishna aspect of his. And he was invoked as Gopijana Vallava. And today it is only Gopal mantra. And that is how it's purely Krishna.
Gotcha.
So that is how the evolution happens. And this was further intensified when Sri Chaitanya came in, because Sri Chaitanya came in and picked up the Radha aspect. Radha Bhav or the Madhurya Bhav.
I think now is a good point to bring in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay.
You said that it's very important to know his story.
Yes.
Again, all these names and words have been mentioned on the show over the years, but we've never deep dived.
Okay.
So if you could just help us with the story.
Absolutely. So Sri Chaitanya was Krishna and Radha reincarnate. A personality, and just like Subhash Bose, his death is still shrouded in mystery. Absolute mystery. Somebody, even today there is research happening, findings happening, theories being circulated, but nobody can say that this is what has happened. No. It's never been taking place. Now, he, as a personality, was so strong. He was another Narasimha. 6 feet 7-8 inches tall. When I take you to the Jagannath temple, you will see his feet. I will take you to Alarnath, you will see his torso. And you will imagine his height. And in the Jagannath temple as well. His fingers. The height at which his fingers reside. Okay. And color, complexion, Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi, golden, absolute golden. That kind of personality, wherever he used to go, he used to get mobbed. And then his dance during the Rath Yatra.
But what is his contribution to India's history? And
his contribution, he appears in a time frame. He is born in Navadip, okay, in Gautish, Navadip Nadia. He appears at a time frame where Islamic rule was at its peak in Bengal. If he had not appeared, you ask me what is his contribution, let me put it in just one sentence and mark my words. History has data, history never lies. If he was not happening in Bengal, Chaitanya would not have appeared in Bengal. Bengal, quote unquote, would have become an Islamic state. Absolutely purely Islamic state. The Afghans, the Mamluks, the Turks, they were raining havoc. What you see is happening with the Hindus in Bangladesh, it was 50 times more than that. 50 times more than that. And you get a glimpse of that as well when Siraj-ud-Dowla is defeated in the Battle of Plassey and the victorious English forces are entering Calcutta. They are greeted with flowers. Imagine the torment. Imagine the pain, grief, tears that people have gone through under Siraj. A similar situation used to happen, and he appeared. And then there was a problem with the Brahmins also. Then there were the Kapaliks and the Tantrics who were raining havoc.
which years are we talking about here?
This is early 15th century.
Okay, 14 something.
1410 onwards, you can say. He appears in 1483, I think, if I correctly remember, and he passes away in 1533.
What's the story of his life?
I'm coming to that now. So once he appears, he was a brilliant scholar, absolutely marvelous scholar, and he used to make fun of the Vaishnavas. Damn handsome, gets married at an early age, first wife dies by snake bite, remarries, second marriage to Vishnu Priya, the first wife was Lakshmi Priya. Then he takes to sannyas, monk. But why does he takes to sannyas? Because he had gone to Gaya. It was in Gaya, after looking at the Sri Vishnu Padapadma, that Chaitanya lost his senses. The Sri Chaitanya transformed. He transformed into a Krishna devotee, avatar, whatever you want to say. He starts Sankirtan. The moment he starts Sankirtan, Hussain Shah, the ruler of Bengal, stops it. Kirtan is defined in Srimad Bhagavatam as a part of Navada Bhakti. The highest form of Bhakti is Kirtan. And then comes Sankirtan with everybody.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's what he gave to Bharat. Sankirtan was his child.
Gotcha.
Today, so many Sankirtans happen. It's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Like bhajan clubbing's origins.
As you.
Origins of bhajan clubbing.
Absolutely.
Began with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes.
Okay. And this is a contribution to Bengal as well.
Bengal, all India.
All right.
Entire India. Because this Sankirtan from Bengal goes to Orissa, from Orissa goes to Brajbhumi, to Kashi, to Prayagraj, and even to Rajasthan.
And his significance to Jagannath Puri is?
He spends 18 years of his last 18 years of his life in Jagannath Puri.
Okay, gotcha.
And that is when the assimilation of Oriya and the Bengal devotees happen. That is when Jagannath, as a tattva, as a culture, as a religious sect, blasts up.
That's why we're talking about it in 2026.
Exactly. He adds a different fervor to Jagannath Rath Yatra.
Gotcha. Tiny tangent. We were speaking about the 1400s and you said that the tantrics were wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. See, because Bengal has been a strong base for Shakti sadhana always, just like Kamrup and Pragjyotispur. So, and that was a time when the Kapaliks and the Tantrics, they were, I would say, due to absence of any control from any royal authority, they were taking people to task. So today, if you look at the areas in Bengal where Vaishnavism today resides as a key religious aspect or practicing aspect, those were tantric belts. Even Navadvip for that matter. Very strong tantric belts. And his greatness was that the Qazi who was working under Hussain Shah, that the Qazi bows down to him and takes Diksha. It was his effect that the Tantrics left Tantrism, many of them, and took to Gaudiya Vaishnavism.
Okay. Now back to Bhakti movement.
This is all Bhakti movement we are sharing. This is nothing out of Bhakti movement.
So this is the beginnings of the Bhakti movement.
This is picking up. Mid-stage, I would say.
How long is this Bhakti movement era?
This, I would say, from early 14th century to 16th century.
Like 300 years.
300 years.
Why was the Bhakti movement needed?
It was not needed. It happened. If you ask me really, it happened as per the wish of the divine. It happened because Vaishnav Tattva picked up that time. Bhakti movement was all about Vaishnav Tattva, where every people of every strata is brought together. Every strata. What was the Mool mantra? Bahutule neche bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Just raise your hands and say Hari bol. That's why you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like this.
Gotcha.
It was made simple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simplifies it to these two stanzas.
Okay.
And makes it very simple. No worship, no penance, no sacrifice, nothing. Just Nam Jap, Nam Kirtan.
Gotcha. Where does Adi Shankaracharya come into the story?
Adi Shankaracharya comes in as per the Madalapaji, the Chronicles of the Jagannath Temple, somewhere around 8th century.
Okay.
He comes in. See, you'll have to understand the fact that why Sankara from Sringeri comes first to Puri. Because he knows the sanctity of the Kshetra, that it has a mask, Sati, Ang, It has a strong Shaiva pit, the Ekamra Kshetra, which we know today as the old city of Bhubaneswar. And then there is the Vishnu Tattva, 4 corners of this Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. And that is why he comes here and establishes the Govardhan Mutt. That time, the Jagannath site was possibly, in most of the sources, was under the Buddhists. So Sankara came, defeated them in Tarka Yudh, took control of the site and dug up the deity of Jagannath from Sonpur along with the help of Yayati Kesari, the Somvanshi ruler, and gave a new shape to the Jagannath deity.
Let's zoom out a bit. I would like to know the story of Adi Shankaracharya.
Okay, so I'll try to recapitulate whatever I can recall from my memory.
Yeah.
Okay, a very brief one. So now, when you look at Adi Shankar, there are 2 most important aspects of his contribution to Sanatana Dharma. 3 concepts, 3 things that he primarily contributed. First, he gave Bharat the Char Dhams, which were working as a bulwark against Islamic invasions. Okay, having played the crucial role, I would say, to ensure that the Sanatanis of Bharat are rooted in their dharma. Point number 2.
One second. More on the Char Dhams a little bit.
More on the Char Dhams?
Yeah.
Okay. So, when I say Char Dham, today Char Dham is loosely quoted as, Kedar, Badri, Gangotri, Yamunotri, but that's not the Char Dham. The true Char Dham, that's more of a marketing stuff that happens. The true Char Dham are Badri Vishal, where Sriman Narayan sleeps or meditates. Dwarka, where he is Dwarikadhish, where he does his Shringar. Rameshwaram, where he takes a bath. And Jagannath Puri, where he eats. And that is why so much of significance of the Mahaprasad of Jagannath. Because Krishna, as per texts, Krishna resides in Kali Yuga in Jagannath Puri.
So you're saying the public knows it as the Shiva Pithas.
Shiva Pithas.
But
Or
it's not
the
the Shiva
Himalaya. Or the Uttarakhand, religious sites.
Char Dham Yatra.
Char Dham. That is not Char Dham Yatra, yaar. I mean, true Char Dham is 4 corners of Bharat.
Okay.
That is more of a marketing stuff that we have developed over a period of time to pull in tourists.
Wow.
Otherwise, if you look at Mahabharat, or even as early as 1950s or 60s, there were hardly any roads to Char Dham. And people, I have heard from my ancestors, grandfather, great-grandfather, Nani, Dadi and all that, people going for Kedar and Badri, it used to be considered that they are not going to come back. Because most of the people going there after the age of 60 never used to come back, or even if they used to come back, they will go for only once in a life. It was the true Tirth in that aspect, and as defined as Mahabharata, the Mahaprasthan, the road to Mahaprasthan, it is truly Mahaprasthan. But aaj kya ho raha hai? Like today, 40 lakh tourists in Kedarnath. Ecologically, it is very sensitive and it is not built for that crowd. It is like a meditative, a penance, a place for penance. You go there, you meditate, you are secluded, you are cut off from the entire world. You are completely aligned, just like the cardinal axis point from a Kalash to the Garbhagriha. Your alignment happens like this with the Param Purush.
Gotcha. Okay. So you named the actual Char Dhams according to Adi Shankaracharya.
Correct.
These were the ones he identified.
Exactly.
And he established them in the mainstream narrative.
Yes.
To protect Sanatana Dharma in the long term.
And not only protect, but give it its true significance.
But we're talking about 800 AD, right?
Actually, if you ask me, Ranveer, Indian history has multiple flaws in it, in terms of chronology, in terms of timeline.
As in, we're taught wrong history.
Yes. And one of the two biggest errors that are there, one is the timeline of Adi Shankara and the other timeline of Gautam Buddha.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is taught versus what is the truth?
The truth is told to us Sankara resided in 8th century, 7th to 8th century. But actually it is 6th to 7th century BC.
Okay.
It is like almost 1,000 years or so, 1,500 years or so.
Okay. Gotcha.
Similarly with Gautam Buddha. Now I'm not a chronology expert, so I can't give you this thing, but whatever I have understood a little bit, there are a lot of scriptures available even today in the southern India mutts, particularly in the Sankara mutts, which state and points to these facts. Secondly, if you look at the Saka eras of Indian history, the Sakabdas, those also have a role to play in this. I am not, again, I'm saying I can't comment much because I'm not a chronology expert, but whatever I've understood is pertinent to this.
So, with respect to Gautam Buddha, what's taught in textbooks?
He was 2,500 years old, somewhere around that. I mean, 600 BCE.
600 BC is the date given, but
Yeah.
you're saying that it's probably much more ancient than that.
Earlier to that, could have been 900 or 1000 BC also even.
Okay, sir. Getting back to the story of Adi Shankaracharya. So you
Yeah.
said that he is responsible for setting up the original 4 dhams.
For them, then comes the setting up of the most important aspect, the Dasanami Sampradaya. This Dasanami Sampradayas played a huge role during the Islamic invasions which were happening in Bharat. They fought back. There are multiple instances from Kashi to Kanyakumari.
Who fought back?
The Naga sadhus. Today, if you go to the Mahakumbh, like last year only we saw the Mahakumbh happening. All the 13 categories came up of the Nagas from all the Vaishnavas and Shiva and Shakti traditions, or even the Udasis. All their Nagas came. Okay. Now, the Nagas were so fierce fighting forces, even the Turks and Mamluks or the Timurids were also afraid of them.
Historical accounts of this?
Of course, there are historical accounts. Kashi, when Aurangzeb first time invaded it in 1664, he was beaten back by the Nagas, ferocious Nagas. The Mughal forces were like, scattered. Nude men with a trident or a sword fighting like possessed souls. There are accounts.
So Adi Shankaracharya is known to unify the Naga sadhus?
Create the Dasanami Sampradaya. So even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a Dasanami Sampradaya sadhu for that matter.
The Dasnami Sampradaya is the same as Nagas?
Nagas are a part of the Dasanami Sampradayas.
Who are the other parts?
Dasanami Sampradaya has different names. Bharti, Aranya, Parvat, Sagar, like that, Puri, okay? And within those sects, they have the warrior classes, the Nagas, okay? Who are the extremes.
They're like the special forces.
Special forces, ekdam sahi.
Okay.
They're the special forces.
Gotcha.
You will not see them in a normal course of the year. They will be in the caves, in the mountains, in the jungles, in the most densest part or most inaccessible part. When the clarion call comes, they come down. You will see them converging like an ocean, like you saw in Mahakumbh.
Gotcha. But currently, they also exist and they're hidden from us. They're away from society.
Because their penance, their sadhana is such that you cannot be doing it within the society. It has to be outside of the society, in a secluded place.
They only come out at the time of the Mahakumbh?
Not really. At times they do come out. For, not only for Mahakumbh, but if there is a Puri Rath Yatra, they will come. You will see Naga sadhus there.
Now the historical account. What is said about their fighting capabilities?
Historical account says that 3-4 things that it says. They fight like possessed souls. Each one of them are equivalent to 10 men, armed 10 men. They're brutal, and their courage exemplary, raw courage.
Would you say that the esoteric narrative is that they have a bit of an avesham before their war?
No, it is not before the war. It is inbuilt. It is inbuilt. When they take the Diksha, they start their sadhana, they start their penance, those traits start developing in them. The hardships the penance gives, that is why they are so strong.
Okay. Like the penance is related to physical prowess as well?
Yes, of course. Of course. These are very basic tenets that I am telling you, because if you go and ask them what exactly they do to get those traits, obviously nobody will open their mouth, because that's a part of their sadhana. When you do a sadhana, you're not supposed to disclose whatever you are getting the fruits of that sadhana. You're not supposed to disclose. It goes away.
Little silly question, but where do you think people join the Naga sect from? Like, how does one become
It can be you, it can be me tomorrow.
But where do you sign up?
When you feel that you are completely disconnected from the society, you don't need anything. You know what? As per data, in the last Mahakumbh that I had come across, the number of people taking to Naga sect was as big as 6 lakhs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As big as 6 lakhs.
And these are also young men.
Men of all ages.
खासा बड़ा नंबर है.
Young men as young as 25 also. Mid ages like 45, 50. And some of them are very highly educated. IITians as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to Adi Shankaracharya. So you're saying he established the Naga sect?
Yes, he did.
There was no Naga sect before him?
No.
Wow. Okay. So the doctrine, the set of rules was all set up by Adi Shankaracharya?
Yes. Many of those things, he gave the blueprint as it normally appears, because he lived for 32 years, right? It's not possible to give everything handover like that. But what I presume, this is my opinion, people are free to disagree, is he has given the blueprint, it was implemented by his men later, the rest of the Shankaracharyas.
What's his story? Where does it start?
His story starts from his birthplace, Kaladi, in Kerala. He was born to his parents after a long time, after a lot of prayers, but their parents got a dream that this son of Shiva will be born, but he will be alive for 16 years only. So they agreed, very much knowing that he will live in 16 years. He will die. His mortal life has to be given up by 16 years. So Sankara, obviously, being a child, is a prodigy from day one. He starts learning and starts picking up very fast. And then his father passes away. He looks after his mother, if I correctly remember. And then in Kaladi, there used to be a river at some distance. And his mother used to go and fetch water from that river every day. So one day when his mother was not well and not able to go, so what he did, he got the river to flow by his own home. So today if you go to Kaladi, where Sankara's mutt is there, it is the place where he used to stay. He was born and he used to stay. You will see that river just passing by. It is there even today. So after that, when he attains the age of 16, if I correctly remember, he is attacked by a crocodile, and he pleads to his mother that I am dying. If you allow me to become a saint, a monk, I will live for another 16 years. Please agree. But his mother knows that if I agree, he will be gone from me. And if she doesn't agree, then it will take him away. His mortal life, as per the dream or the divine justice, will happen. So her mother, with a lot of heavy heart, agrees, and he goes to near to Omkareshwar in a gufa where he gets his guru. He learns from there, educates, comes back to Kaladi, goes to Sringeri, establishes a mutt in Sringeri, and from there he starts his journey all India.
Once he's established his mutt, which it could be understood to be a school, a college?
No, college, I mean, yeah, it is a school, college, or university, whatever you can say. In terms of Sanatan scriptural study, which used to happen at that point of time, it is obviously that.
Like a Gurukul. but
Gurukul,
university
absolutely
version.
Gurukul. Yeah, it's a Gurukul. That's why I said that school, college, university, you can club all of them together.
So he establishes the mutt, then he travels all over India.
First goes to Puri. From Puri to Gaya, Gaya to Prayagraj to Kashi to Haridwar, Rishikesh.
And according to your research, this is happening roughly in 600 BC.
They say 600 BC. Not my research. I'm just stating whatever I have read in various texts about his tenure, the flow of incidents in his life, irrespective of the timeline. Okay, I'm taking the timeline segment out of it. This is the flow of events that I'm telling you, largely.
The historical lens here is that around the time of Adi Shankaracharya, there was an existential threat to Sanatan Dharma.
Absolutely.
He was
Absolutely.
needed to repopularize Sanatan Dharma.
Re-establish, resurrect. He resurrected the Sanatan Dharma.
By resurrecting temples,
No,
then
by resurrecting Dharma itself, by bringing in the philosophy, Vedantic philosophy.
as in people had lost touch with their roots.
Yes. So if you look at his life everywhere, all the descriptions that we read about Adi Sankara, one of the main aspects that we see, most of his closest disciples were converted from Buddhism, starting from Mandala Mishra or anybody for that matter.
Could you draw out a picture of India at the time? What was happening in India?
Which time, in Sankara's timeline?
Yeah.
Again, irrespective of 600 BC or 7th century CE, Sanatan Dharma obviously was under threat from Vajrayana Buddhism. But what was there was Shaiva and the Shakti part of it, on which Adi Sankara worked. The tenets of Sanatan Dharma were very largely scattered. People were operating in silos.
Okay.
That is why I said he established the four corners, the four Pithasthans, the foundations. He laid the foundation in the four corners of India and put things together. He created that bulwark, the framework to fight back.
So in a way, Adi Shankaracharya at that time re-established access to information and access to the pathway
He brought the knowledge together in one place.
in those mutts.
Yes, he
Okay.
brought that knowledge together in place. He redefined things. He set the process to be followed. He gave you the ways to get access to that information. That is what he did.
Gotcha. So the public could finally understand Sanatan Dharma in its true
Yes.
state.
You see, another important, very, very pertinent point that you brought up. It reminds me of something. In the initial years, he focuses on scriptures, training, penance, and rituals and all that stuff. His ultimate objective was to empower the people with that bhakti and knowledge. But behold, after a certain time, towards his end of the years, let's say when he was 24, 25, he realizes that this is not enough. A normal householder like you and me are not able to sink into the mainstream. So what will be the turning point, USP, to get into their minds and brains? Bhakti, devotion, pure devotion.
Gotcha.
And that is when he started creating the Ashtakams.
The Kal Bhairav Ashtakam.
Kalbhairav Ashtakam, Govinda Ashtakam, Aigiri Nandini, then Jagannath Ashtakam.
Wow.
All these Ashtakams were then created by him. He gave Bharat those Ashtakams then
Wow. Okay.
to bring in bhakti, to foster bhakti in the hearts of men and women.
Wow. Beautiful. Okay. Beginning of the concept of bhajans.
Yeah,
We have bhajans today because Adi Shankaracharya began with Ashtakams back
correct,
then.
correct.
Gotcha. See, I love conversations like this because these are the conversations where you understand what being a Hindu is.
Exactly. And see, the other part which I just very slightly touched upon, when you look at Srimad Bhagavatam, or Bhagavatam, whatever you say, want to say, there is the process of Navada Bhakti which has been defined. Navada Bhakti is given to you by Bhakti Devi. What are the Navada Bhaktis? They are the 9 ways of worshipping Sri Vishnu. Okay? 9 ways, as simple as that. 9 ways of worshipping Vishnu. You do a japa, one way. You are thinking, you are having a cup of tea and thinking of him. I will go and have darshan. I will go this time, that time. Another form of bhakti. You are doing Tirth Yatra, another form of bhakti. You are giving him bath, abhishekam, that another form of bhakti. You are doing kirtan, another form. The highest form of bhakti is kirtan. So that is why during bhakti movement, kirtan picked up. Everywhere, every personality that you see focuses on kirtan. Mirabai, Eknath, Surdas, Tukaram, Sant Ganeshwar, Maharashtra, his sister, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nanak. Nanak had Bhai Mardana with him playing the band. That he's doing kirtan. There are descriptions given in a book called Sunya Shamhita by Achyutanand, one of the Pancha Sakhas of Orissa. Very important point. That in the Mangu Mat, in front of the Mangu Mat, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Guru Nanak are together doing Sankirtan. Imagine the scene. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 2 avatar Purushas coming together doing Sankirtan with their band of followers. And Bhai Mardana playing the Rabda.
Wow. Stunning. Okay. Adi Shankaracharya. This is the story of his next 16 years?
This is the story of his next 16 years. He goes from one place to another. He goes Badri Vishal ko recover. Like he recovered Badri Vishal from the river. He goes to Haridwar, resurrects Kankhal. Kankhal is a very important place. Haridwar, many people do not know. I asked with many people, Acha, Haridwar, you have gone. Have you visited this place? Which place? Bilkeshwar Mahadev, in a place called Lal Tarapur. It has a huge 3-foot Shivling, 3.5 feet Shivling, established by Adi Shankaracharya. And that is inside a jungle on top of a mountain, which has a Parvati Gufa. It is believed, largely believed, that Ma Parvati did her penance over there. And there is a Parvati Kund. I have tasted the water. It's very sweet, actually.
Okay. You know, this began as a Jagannath Puri episode. It's become history of Hinduism. History of being Hindu.
That's what, yeah.
Because Jagannath Puri actually ties everything together.
That is why I said. That is what I exactly said, and that is exactly what happened with me. I started with Braj Bhumi. When I took my parents to Braj, I was conned. I came back, felt sad. I wanted to know about Braj Bhumi. When I started learning about Braj Bhumi, researching on it, I learned Gauri Vaishnavism. I learned about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who took me back to, parallelly it took me to Kachawa Rajputs of Jaipur history, Mirabai, and then obviously to Jagannath Puri. And when I reached Jagannath Puri, the first thing I asked myself, who is he? Who is Jagannath? Is he Vishnu? Is he Shiva? Is he Brahma? I am getting so many different versions. And even today, trust me, Ranveer, I am trying to understand. I am still a student. I learn every day something or the new about the culture.
I mean, what I've gathered from today's conversation is that he's that Parabrahm, what we call Parabrahm, which is just, for lack of better words, universal divinity.
Universal, like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa rightly defines, Joto Mot Toto Pot. Jitne, like number of theories, number of paths, but they lead to one. That is why I keep telling Nanak Panth. The best example, or Swami Vivekananda, Vedantic philosophy. You don't have to, if somebody doesn't want to go to a temple and do a Vigraha worship, don't do it. Don't go. You meditate at home and turn inwards. The Sankhya philosophy. Turn inwards. Ask yourself. As simple as that.
Gotcha. Now, because we're back at this Jagannath Puri conversation, I've noticed that every podcast you go on, they often ask you about Kalki Avatar. Why is it related to Jagannath Puri?
Reason because of the text called Bhavishya Malika, written by Panchasakhas and few other Mahantas of Orissa.
Roughly when?
16th century.
Okay.
And this text, like you have the predictions of Nostradamus or Baba Vanga, he was Nostradamus of India.
Hindu version of Nostradamus.
Yes. And he was the reincarnation of Sudama, Achyutananda.
Oh, wow. What is the saint's name?
Achyutanand,
Achyutanand. Okay. And
the main of the Panchasakhas.
Gotcha. So what has he predicted?
He predicted many things. Look, today, let me put it in a very simple way. There are people, I'm seeing they are claiming, we have read and all that stuff, but it is impossible to read all of them. Because it is not one text, my friend. It is not one text. I have told this earlier also, 18,000 texts distributed in multiple mutts, temples, written by multiple people, talking of various timelines and various events and various places. Some of these places I have visited. Some of the incidences which have been predicted for Kali to Sati, the Satyug transitional phase, have been witnessed in Jagannath Puri temple. Because whatever predictions they have given, a large part of them is based on the events happening around, or events that will happen around the Sri Jagannath temple. Because he is Parabrahma, he is Jagatarunath, Jagannath, he is the ultimate of philosophy which Adi Sankara defined. Jagat Sat Mithya, Brahma Satya, Tat Tvamasi.
So they've predicted the future of Orissa basically.
Bharat.
With central point being Jagannath Puri.
Yes.
Okay. So what were the predictions in the Bhavishya Malika that came true?
One of them is there will be bloodbaths or blood found in the temple. It has been happening. It has been happening quite often.
Like when did it last happen?
Very recently it happened once. I think 2 or 3 months back. Blood was found in Jagmohan.
Oh, just blood is found.
That is more than sufficient. Jagmohan means from where you have darshan. Even when you go, you will have darshan from Jagmohan.
Wow.
That is as close as 30 to 40 feet of the deity.
So this is an omen.
Yes.
For
something unholy.
And it happened 2 months ago.
It has been happening for the last 4-5 years. A transgender jumped and ended his or her life from the temple top. Not the main Shikhara, the one which is there in front.
When?
This was, I think, 2.5 years back.
So over the last 5 years, which is pretty much since COVID.
Before the second wave, before the COVID second wave, the Bana, the Patit Pavan Bana, flew away.
What is the Bana?
The flag, temple flag, which is there on the chakra on top, that flew away.
So it's an ominous sight for worship.
Yes. And believe it or not, I don't know. Anybody wants to accept it as a science, anybody doesn't want to accept it science or like spreading this thing. But people in Orissa, people of follower of the Jagannath culture, everybody knows this, that this has happened and there is no explanation for this. It happened when General Rawat met with an accident. It happened when there was a huge train accident happening in Orissa where 1,400 people expired. It happened before the COVID second wave. It happened before the cyclone which was hitting Orissa, I think in 2020. So it happens. It happens. And there is no explanation. Many people ask me that, or tell me based on my previous podcast, that why the temple flag, is on the opposite direction. There is the structure of the temple which supports the wind flow in a very, in a physics terms and all that. That is why it happens. Okay, fine, gentlemen. Let me ask you one critical question. You have seen the Jagannath temple. Have you seen the Lingaraj temple? Which is as long as tall, almost as tall, hardly 10 or 20 feet apart. It has the same architecture. Same architecture. The only difference is instead of a Neela Chakra on the Kalash, there is a bow. Then why it doesn't happen there and it happens here?
There's something a little more occult about Jagannath Puri.
Strange. I mean, once you step in, you will understand the power. Many people who have gone with me, I remember I'd taken a few people in 2023 for one of the heritage walks that I was doing. I keep taking people around with me. One of them was a totally Nastik, engineer by profession, totally Nastik. That person, after looking at the deities, felt heaviness in his legs, and he said that I have never felt, normally Hindu temples I find very dirty, but I am not feeling like going out of this temple right now. I want to come back again. And he came back again. There are, I know people of science, people educated, they're going to give me a barrage of missiles at me after this podcast. Fine, I'm willing to, I've taken many bullets, I will take a few more. But then there is something different, Ranveer, that's something different, very different. There's something different.
What else is written in the Bhavishya Malika?
There will be attacks on India. A big dam will break, which will inundate a large area. The temple, the deities will no more be in Puri. They will move to Jajpur or Chhatiyawat.
Where is this?
Near to Cuttack, next to Cuttack. More inland, it will move more inland. The ocean waters will reach the last 22 steps, last of the steps of the temple. Basically the entire Puri city will go down.
Global warming predictions.
Possible, quite possible. Something very similar to what happened to Dwarka.
Are any timelines for these predictions given?
It is very difficult to define a timeline because some bit of it is happening, like whatever is happening today between US and Iran. All these things have been written. The timelines were matching.
But how has things been written about USA and Iran in Bhavishya Malika?
Let me take you one step ahead.
Yeah.
Creation of Pakistan and Bangladesh was written.
Really?
Yes.
How? Like what was written?
It's very difficult to share. I can't share, obviously, for many reasons, but it was written. It was written.
In Sanskrit?
In Sanskrit. In Oriya.
Oriya. They said that our country will be split
Oriya
up
and
into...
Sanskrit mix. That.
Was there like a spiritual reason for this given?
All these people who have contributed to the texts are highly spiritually evolved souls.
They've all seers, like oracles.
Yes.
Can an average person get access to the Bhavishya Malika?
If you are looking at the true text, no. The fiercely guarded texts. These are very fiercely guarded texts.
With the mutts. As in the Gurukuls, they are okay.
Fiercely guarded. Just like the Navakalevar ritual of Sri Jagannath, this is also fiercely guarded. There are certain secrets of India's Sanatan Dharm's, this thing which should not come out.
Let's speak about this ritual you just mentioned.
The Navakalevar.
What is
where the body of Sri Jagannath is replaced. The wooden bodies are replaced and the Brahma Padarth, the Padarth, which is the most sacred piece, is reinstated from the old body to the new body. This happens typically in a gap of 8, 12 or 19 years. The last time it happened was in 2015.
So next year, perhaps.
Depends on the lunar calendar.
Okay, it's according to some... Alright. Okay. With respect to the temple, there are also more secrets?
Yes, there are.
Is the temple built over a treasure room?
No.
Nothing like that.
No. There are treasure rooms, which is called the Ratna Bhandar. under the charge of ASI, because Jagannath Temple is managed and protected by ASI. It's an central government property. There is a Ratna Bhandar inside. It has got diversions. In the last 2 years, the Ratna Bhandar has undergone a lot of changes in the sense that it has been repaired. The counting of the inventory of jewelry is happening right now as we speak, and a lot of findings have happened, and a lot of conservation work has happened inside, which has been declared by ASI. The conservation work, what they have done and how they have done it. The counting of inventorization is happening right now as we speak, and and this is happening and in its most sanctified form after 1805. 1803, Orissa came under the British. 1805, the British under the local collector Charles Grome, was the first and the last time when a total inventory was taken.
These treasures that are in the temple, these are collected over the centuries.
Yes.
By the kings of Orissa.
Yes. And there are inscriptions, there are records available to certify them.
Are there secret chambers as well?
I can't say that.
What do you think the average Hindu youngster doesn't understand about this legacy of the temples in our country? Because I know for a fact that on algorithms, especially whenever we speak about the mysteries associated with the temples, the treasures associated with the temples, it spikes interest. Do you think that there's something to uncover?
There is a lot to uncover. Not in the sense of treasures, not in the sense of mysticism, occult, legends or oral traditions, but consciousness.
It can unlock your higher states of consciousness.
You have to understand, a temple is at par with the human body. It is at par with the human body. And it is a part of the human consciousness. Like the Shikhara, the temple Shikhara, the top, it is divided into 3 parts architecturally. And it defines the 3 states of consciousness, where one is down in, let's say, Patal Lok, one is Bhulok, the other one is the the Swarg Lok, or the Supreme Consciousness, which is the top of the Kalash. And that is why I said that, from the Kalash, the cardinal point which comes down has to align in the sanctum sanctorium with the deity. It has to be in that cardinal point.
Gotcha.
The yantras, every temple has a yantra. Okay, it can be a octagonal figure, it can be a lotus, it can be anything, or even a chakra, wheel types. But what is the significance of these yantras? It was to bring the energy and tap it and lock it over there, so that people, when they are visiting those temples, can absorb those energies. Many South Indian temples, you will see the male folks going the top uncovered, the torso is uncovered. It was primarily done to enable them to absorb as much as the energy as possible. And today what we are doing, we are wearing jeans and going in, we are hot pants going in, anything. But it's good that consciousness is coming in and people are defining dress codes that is needed.
Would you say that perhaps for every Hindu temple, at least
a minimum dress code should be there?
Like, you need to be wearing...
See, you go to Gurdwara, you cover your head, right? Why do you do that? There is a reason for that, right? Women cover them with the pallu, and me, we will cover it with a scarf, right? You go to a masjid, you wear a cap, right? Why do you do that? If you don't have that sense of surrender to the Supreme, how will you connect with that energy? How will you receive the blessings? How will you align your consciousness with the deity, or even the architecture or the energy? Not even deity, let me remove the deity from here for a sec. With the energy. It is all about energy.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, S. Dada. Too much fun talking to you.
Thank you.
Doing an English episode after a very long time.
And same here for me.
Yeah.
Same here for me.
Yes, this is especially for South audiences also. You know,
Right.
we've got a lot of requests to do our Hindi episodes in English. Slowly we're bringing back English podcasts.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And this travels all over the world. So hopefully lots of people will end up visiting Jagannath Puri. Thank you.
Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath.
तो आज के पॉडकास्ट की बात करूं, ऑनेस्टली स्टार्टिंग में मैं थोड़ा डिफ़िकल्ट लग रहा था समझना, लेकिन जैसे जैसे आगे जाता गया और मुझे इंटरेस्ट इसमें आता रहा, क्योंकि जैसे उन्होंने आदि शंकराचार्य जी की बात की, उनका जिस तरीके से उनकी बर्थ हुई, फिर जैसे जो बर्थ के बाद यानी कि 16 इयर्स गुजरने के बाद जो जैसे मतलब वो और उन्होंने इस दुनिया में टाइम गुजारा, और जो भक्ति मूवमेंट है उसको लेकर जो बीच में डिस्कशन हुई, इवन डिवाइन पावर को लेकर जिस तरीके से बात हुई और जो प्रेडिक्शंस की गई हैं, आई मीन बहुत कुछ है सीरियसली इस दुनिया में। मुझे लगता है कि जो रहस्य भरे हैं, बट सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ जो मुझे लगता है कि देखो बहुत सारे लोग जो होते हैं वो नास्तिक भी रहते हैं, और हमेशा नास्तिक और आस्तिक के बीच में ना एक डिबेट चलती ही रहती है। कुछ लोग मानते हैं, कुछ नहीं मानते, कुछ लोग साइंस की जो भाषा होती है उस पर ज़्यादा करते हैं, लाइक
एक्सपेरिमेंट्स बेसिकली।
बट ऑनेस्टली विद टाइम जो चीज़ें मुझे समझ आ रही हैं ना, लाइक स्पिरिचुअलिटी में जो बहुत ही हायर सोल हैं और जिन्होंने इस दुनिया में एक बैलेंस मेंटेन किया है स्टार्टिंग से, उनकी प्रेडिक्शन और फिर आने वाले टाइम में जो साइंस की हम लोग एक कह लें कि एक अचीवमेंट्स हम देखते हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं पर वो सब मिलकर ही हमारे सामने एक रिज़ल्ट लेकर आ रही होती, क्योंकि कुछ लोग स्पिरिचुअलिटी पर बिलीव करते हैं, कुछ लोग साइंस के जो फैक्ट्स हैं उस पर बिलीव करते हैं। अगर देखा जाए तो बाय द एंड आपको एक रिजल्ट कुछ उसी तरीके का नज़र आ रहा होता है।
अच्छा, वैसे जब आप इतिहास की बात करते हैं तो ये इसमें कोई शक नहीं, आप जब भी उसके बारे में सुनते हैं, जानने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो आपको हर बार कुछ ना कुछ जो है वो नया सुनने को मिलता है। अभी जैसे आज की वीडियो की बात करें तो हम भी जो है वो केदारनाथ, बद्रीनाथ, यमुनोत्री और गंगोत्री, इन्हें जो है वो 4 धाम जो है वो समझते थे, क्योंकि हमने भी जितनी वीडियोस देखी हैं उसमें सबने इन्हीं का जो है वो जिक्र किया। लेकिन जिस तरह आज बताया गया, नहीं भाई, एक पॉइंट से दूसरे पॉइंट यानी कि पूरा एक जो है वो 4 कॉर्नर, बेसिकली वो जो है वो 4 धाम हैं जो असल में है।
एक तरह से वो कनेक्टिविटी पूरा एरिया कवर किया गया ना, जहाँ तक मैं समझ पाई हूँ।
बिल्कुल। फिर उसके बाद नागा साधु की बात की जाए तो वो जितने पावरफुल और शक्तिशाली, उनके बारे में यानी कि एक बल जो उनका जो है वो बताया गया है, ये चीज़ भी मेरे लिए जो है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा हैरानकुन भी थी और नई भी थी।
लेकिन एक चीज़ जो इसमें डिस्कशन में पता चली कि नागा साधु जो हैं उनका जो मतलब स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट है कि कहाँ पर उनको एक आर्मी की तरह जो बनाया गया है, क्या पर्पस क्या उसका रहा है, वो हम लोगों को आज पता चला कि लाइक एक्सट्रीम वेदर में या एक्सट्रीम सिचुएशन में जिस तरीके से वो सर्वाइव करते हैं और वो जितने स्ट्रॉन्ग है, यानी कि एक एक इंसान 10-10 बंदों के बराबर है।
बाकी जो है भाई हम टाइम टू टाइम जो है वो देखते हैं कि भाई आपको जो है हिस्ट्री में ऐसे लोग जो है वो नज़र आते हैं जिन्होंने वाकई में बहुत ज़्यादा जो है वो काम किया है, यानी कि टाइम टू टाइम चीज़ों को रीशेप जो है वो करके लोगों के सामने जो है वो लाते रहे। जैसे हमने भजन का जो है उसका जिक्र सुना कि वो कब कैसे जो है वो किस तरह जो है स्टार्ट हुआ, तो ये चीज़ें आपको काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग लगती हैं।
इवन मुझे ये चीज़ भी जो समझ आ रही है थोड़ा ये कि जब मतलब ज़रूरत होती है डिवाइन पावर की तरफ से कुछ ना ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट किया जाता है कि लोग दोबारा से उस साइड पर आते हैं। और जैसे ये बात बोली जाती है भक्ति, आई मीन नाम जप, ये चीज़ें ऑनेस्टली बोलूँ लाइक आपको ऑलमोस्ट हर जगह पर ये चीज़ जो है ना वो नज़र आएगी कि आपको इस साइड पर कन्विंस किया जाता है कि अगर आप कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते ना तो सिर्फ आप नाम जप कर लो, उसमें जब कर लो, उसमें ही आपकी बहुत ज़्यादा आप कह लो कि बेहतरी है। बाकी कमेंट सेक्शन में आप जरूर बताइए कि आपका क्या कहना है इसके बारे में। मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट टाइम।